Emerging societal challenges, the withdrawal of welfare policies, new economic paradigms and a wave of new technological opportunities are determining a profound transformation in the nature of social entrepreneurship. It is somehow still unclear which kind of enterprise will result from this transformation, but we can argue that this entity, which we may call a social venture, will have a hybrid nature with features inherited from non-profit companies traditionally operating in the third sector and other features inherited from mainstream profit companies. This means that the single internal corporate functions are bound to be transformed under the pressure of the drivers of change that we briefly summarized above. The core question is therefore which corporate functions are more likely to be affected by such transformation and how. Of course, we may argue that every single internal function of the social enterprise will have to adapt to the new playing field, but there are reasons to believe that some specific ones will undergo a particularly relevant process of transformation. Among these, it is certainly worth mentioning innovation management, accounting, governance and finance. Innovation management is probably the clearest example. The need to respond to societal challenges and to do so in an inclusive way is changing the way innovation is managed in social enterprises, as well as in profit companies trying to adapt themselves to new markets. The new innovation mode has been called innovating on the chip. It entails the concept that the challenge is no longer to create products and services that are super-functional or technologically highly performing, but it is rather to create products and services that are shaped by the specific needs and purchasing power of the potential customers. This has different practical implications, such as extending products' life cycle or rethinking the functionalities of existing products. Within the general concept of innovating on the chip, we find very many different practices that go under different names. For example, we have the Frugal Innovation paradigm that is described as the process of reducing the complexity and cost of a good and its production. Usually, this refers to removing non-essential features from a durable good, such as a car or a phone, in order to sell it in developing countries. The term jugaad describes an innovation mode that is based on solving complex problems with very limited resources available, while crowdsourcing, or open innovation, is based on the idea that innovation can be the result of a cooperative effort and the intuition that a good solution for complex problems may be found outside the boundaries of a research lab by making the crowd aware of a particular problem that needs to be solved and leveraging on individuals' ability to solve such problem. Other examples are biomimicry, the imitation of the models, systems and elements of nature for the purpose of solving complex human problems, or cradle to cradle, the attempt to create production techniques that are not just efficient but are essentially waste-free. Another corporate function that is bound to evolve very rapidly is accounting. The hybrid nature of new forms of social entrepreneurship is often described through the triple bottom line imaging, that is synthesized the concept that a social venture is committed to produce value in three dimensions: economic, social and environmental. Measuring the economic value is a well-established practice with accounting rules and standards that are widely recognized all over the world. The same does not hold true for the other two dimensions, where new practices, rules and standards for impact measurement will have to be developed and adopted by enterprises. This means that one important managerial challenge for social ventures is impact measurement, both social and environmental, in order to achieve a well-balanced level of accountability along the three dimensions of the mission. Along this line of argument, it is easily understood that the triple bottom line approach entails the need to revisit the models of governance for social enterprise in order to accommodate and integrate the different dimensions of the enterprise mission and the interests of pretty heterogeneous stakeholders. Therefore, it is an important managerial issue, the ability to design forms of multi-stakeholder governance that are suitable to align the composite set of interests that characterize social ventures. Finally, another important aspect of the transformation of corporate function has to do with finance. A social enterprise in search of financial resources, risk capital or credit will have to resort to financial institutions or partners that are able to take into account its peculiar nature and mission, and specifically its commitment to produce a value that is not only economic but also measurable in terms of social and environmental impact. This means, first of all, that the social venture has to be able to credibly measure its impact and to convey it to the potential investors. Furthermore, it will have to deal with specific financial markets, investors and instruments that are broadly described with the term social impact finance or impact investing. These are just some of the examples that can be offered to highlight some important patterns of change that are taking place in the evolutionary process that is transforming social enterprises into social ventures. Other could be drawn from corporate strategy, supply chain management, or operations. The ability to master these changes is probably one of the distinctive capabilities that will determine the success of future social entrepreneurs.